doctor. Oh, even.
In my wire, all over you to find. Banana like monkey, body sweeter than turkey. Slowly roll down like those girls. Go there to come back. Surely go down for me. But it goes so far now money. Girl, no for that. So you're too so
On your mandate, we shall stand.
especially if I can move. The way you hold that thing, me want more that thing. Baby, let me take a look. Oh Lord, you want all the girls in the whole world. I know what I'm doing is so wrong. But since no man can focus, we definitely don't give a fuck. She said she knew me get a girlfriend, and so what? What if she said she only got a woman on me body. What if
Here we go.
Uncle Patrick, good to see you, sir. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Good to see you, Babes Wind. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications right now. Let's get started. We have a show. We have a show to do. Yeah. Oh, I have to hear. No, wait. I have to listen to this one. All right, we're getting started. We have a show. Almost. Let me get my shit together. Sorry, guys. All right, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Okay, Otito. All right, welcome back, everybody. Good to see you all. Let me see who's in the chat. Shout out to Uncle Patrick. I see you. Isize, welcome back. Marriott, she said, lately, comma, how are you? I'm doing well. You know, I had to take a second to remember that I was actually late. Sorry about that. It was my fault. Okay, I was participating in behavior I shouldn't have, and I should bring you guys up to speed. And I will share some of that with you guys. But welcome. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we do go live. We have a fantastic show lined up for you today, of course, as usual. So we're going to definitely have fun. We're going to learn. I want to learn from you. Yeah, we got some cool stuff to talk about today. We're bringing Yul-Edochie back to the stage. By way of his brother and ex-fiance / ex-wife to be, and we're going to bring up to speed on that. I haven't had a chance to cover it, but we're going to do it today. Okay, so welcome back. I was listening to something, and I'm actually going to slow down on it. I've been participating in bad habits recently, particularly by way of TikTok. I was listening to TikTok, and the conversation was a bit engaging. Generally speaking, if you hear people talking about relationships or failed marriages, or why they both sides of the gender say, I will not marry again, God forbid, marriage is a scam, it is better to stay single. You hear all this kind of stuff on TikTok in a very weird, twisted way. It's actually very addictive. I don't know if it's the entertainment part of it. I don't know if I care. I would like to think I care, I guess. Activist. But obviously it's a kind of conversations that's around what we do here, which is marriage, relationship coaching and stuff like that. Speaking of, you can download our books absolutely for free. Get My Marriage Back. Maybe I should write a book called Prestige. Anyway, number one, Red Flag. And my other 3 books, you can download them for free. Absolutely for free from manofprestige.com. And so I was listening to it, and I saw a bunch of seems to be young ladies arguing back and forth with a bunch of 40 to 60-year-old men. And it looks like they actually, no, it not doesn't look like, they actually engage, they enjoy engaging each other's basketballs. And I'll tell you why straight up here. I'll tell you the undeniable truth here. Truth teller, right? I'll tell you right now, it's because those young women, they are in their masculine mode for the most part. Okay, it's not a matter of fault. It's not a shaming language. It's just for anybody. I'm saying this to my own prestige family here, for anybody who wants to make sure that they don't fall prey for these things. It's actually, like I said, in a very weird, twisted way, those kind of conversations are very addictive to engage, to spend all your time in. Before you know it, you'll be spending hours upon hours and upon hours. And look at me today. I apologize, Sha, anyway, to you, Prestige family. Look at me. I'm 15 minutes late because I couldn't turn it off just in time. I was underestimating or overestimating the time that I had. And so I can only imagine people that can relate at a personal level how addictive those kind of conversations are. You have a bunch of 30 plus men, all the way up to 70, those that their marriages are broken up and they are angry at the world, and they camouflage it as they're speaking logic, of course. And yes, they can always justify it, just like you can look in the Bible and justify any of your personal BS. And of course, those men are spending most of their time in their feminine energy too. And when you have a misplaced feminine energy together with misplaced masculine energy, you would think, in a perfect world, you should create some kind of perfect sexual polarity. The reality is that none of those women would sleep with those men. Or if they did, it would be by mistake. They will come to the internet and cry narcissism to us, okay? All right, so, but that's what's going on. It's chaos everywhere. It's confusion everywhere. And I was listening to it and... Wait, how come everyone's email address is showing and not the name? Really? You need to refresh. That's probably on you. Oh, not the email. You're talking about the handles? The handles are showing because probably more, I don't know. That's probably a YouTuber update. I do see that here. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, welcome, Chinya. Good to see you. So you got to be careful. I'm saying that to say be careful because a lot of those women, they won't listen to, right? A lot of them are actively engaged in this argument. They will pull out all the stats, and the reality is that you can't argue against people who argue. Okay, let me say it properly. You cannot argue romantic relationship stuff against people who are obsessed with the stats and all those kind of stuff. Because oftentimes they will interpret the stats. The stats are not wrong, but they will interpret the stats with their emotions. Yes, men alike. Okay, especially the men, because it's a misplaced feminine energy, and you know they will just be spending most of the time manipulating you, and you know you're going to get triggered by manipulation for the most part. And if people like me jump in the middle of the conversation, but for the most part they will clap for me. That makes sense, okay? But I'm boring. They don't want to engage someone like me. That's boring. Somebody teaching and saying all the right things, that's boring. Okay, so those are some of the things you have to pay attention to when you engage this conversation. If you want to engage it for cruise, sure, knock yourself out, because that's what I was doing. But sometimes it can eat into your productivity. And today right now, I'm cutting it short. It's a deliberate action, intentional action I have to take. And if I'm going to go on their cruise, I can capture some of their topics, hear some things, and I'll drop maybe a 10-minute rant on TikTok right there to correct all the stupid notions, many stupid notions. Let me see if I can capture some of them here. Let's see. We agree with the, you have people, both men and women, saying they are happier staying single. I don't know who they are trying to convince, because it sounds like they're trying to convince me, because you don't have to convince me on that, especially if that's your actual reality. Why? I'd rather somebody who is married tell me that they are happier staying single. Yeah, that would be interesting, right? That would be more entertaining. But apparently, that is more entertaining on the internet today for a bunch of single people to be coming to convince themselves that they are happier single. Confusion. All right, yeah. So today, yes, we're definitely going to be talking about Yul-Edochie today. Definitely, we're talking about Yul-Edochie today. I'm trying to see some of the topics they've been discussing on TikTok that I thought might be interesting for us to talk about here is, for example, why is it difficult for divorcees to find love again, right? Why? So now you give, if they give each other answer, because they usually just clap for my answer, it makes too much sense. So they will just leave me. I'm boring, remember? But when they give each other answer, they would disagree and they would drag each other literally for hours upon hours upon hours. I would drop out, take a meeting. One of my mistakes in the last few days is I will now come back and I'm not doing that again. I have only 15 minutes budget for TikTok in a day now. Henceforth. Well, another topic is, why are men not shamed for being 304s the way women are? Very, very interesting question, right? 304, if you don't know what that is reverse it backwards. It means Olosho, okay, in English or Yoruba. Olosho person. Anyway, another one says, why do men like to see the baby mother suffer when the relationships are over? That's another one. Okay, these are the conversations that young ladies are engaging with old men on TikTok. Let me be fair to the men. There are also older women that's very obvious, because if you're doing well in a marriage, you just can't relate with certain rhetoric, right? Even if you are unrealistic, even if they call you delusional, maybe because you're not connected to, quote unquote, the reality of people that are not doing well in marriage, right? But you have to be able to connect with a lot of these things at a personal level, maybe not as a person, but at a personal level, before you can really engage this kind of topics for 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours. And to be fair, it's a pandemic. It's a lot of people dealing with a lot of issues. Okay, it's a lot of people dealing with a lot of issues in this world. One of the talking points is like, oh, social media is not real. Social media is as real as it gets. If anything, it's realer, because people can hide behind keyboards, become keyboard gangsters, and they get to say everything that they truly feel, because you're not going to slap them, because you can't. Right? Everybody, I'm talking about everybody. Okay, things that they would never say to your face. Most likely they might not be in your presence, but they won't say it to your face. So if you stumble into this kind of conversations on TikTok, on Clubhouse, on Facebook, you might get triggered. Okay, you might get triggered. Like, for example, I got triggered today. Okay, one young man, in fact, his voice is, I don't know if he's young or old. It sounds like some of those people that you see that their voice will mismatch their face. If you see them, you're like, wait, I thought that was an old person, but this person actually happened to be a 24-year-old. Sometimes that happens. It's very confusing. But anyway, he was talking. As soon as I started talking, I said I had a question for him. As soon as I started talking, the question I asked him, because he was yarning a bunch of dust, of course, but I have to, I'm not going to come down to his level. I kind of have to come down to this level, but in a different, twisted way, right? I have to ask a question to see if they're able to engage at this level of conversation, right? So I have to humble myself, and let me even rephrase that properly, because let me humble myself. I have to go to their level. I don't know if it's higher or lower. I don't want to assume it's lower or higher, because I'm learning too, right? So I had to go to his level of whatever he was saying. He was saying it in pidgin, so I could already, not to prejudge pidgin, but I could kind of already, just in between the lines of what he was saying, I could prejudge what he was saying, So I asked this question. I said, for personal and overall social security, would you agree with me that some people are better off staying single? The topic was, is marriage, does marriage system create security for women these days? That's the question, and you guys can feel free to answer that question. They're still talking about it as we speak. The question is that, does the marriage system create security for, you know what I'm saying? So, and the guy just I beg Oga, if you are to get all this that now, they're one of the problems now, all this all this English language, foreign slavery mindset English that now they speak. Anyway, Mario says you're reporting yourself to this. Yes, I am. So at that point I said, Baba, don't worry now. Okay, let me make I break down the question. And I'm faking, because my pidgin is not strong. So I'm trying to come to that same level, to his higher level, to have that conversation. This is usually a bad idea, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, especially if you have a bunch of people in the audience or people on that same stage and they kind of agree with each other, meaning they are licking each other's balls. Excuse my French. If you're going to push against them, you remember I always tell you, if you're going to push against the trend of an ocean, you better know what you're doing, because there's a high likelihood you will drown. It's not a matter of right or wrong. Okay, you're in the wrong zone. Read the goddamn room. Take yourself out of there if it's not working. Okay, so and I was there, so I said, okay, so I asked him the question. I forgot it was Nyani dust. I don't think that was the question. It was Nyani some kind of dust nonsense, But the rhetoric was basically, he was not saying anything about security for women. It was just basically attacking the women. How do I know it was attacking the women? Because you can literally, because I don't know if you're attacking the women until I start seeing the response. If a bunch of women are feeling attacked, then yes, you are attacking women. But is that my fault that they feel attacked? Yes. Okay, it's not your fault. Your social intelligence is your fault. Your emotional intelligence is your fault. So they usually come back with like, well, if all you are doing is trying to satisfy women and all this kind of what's that? I'm trying to maintain my masculine frame. but it's shaky because we all have feminine and masculine in us, right? I was trying to maintain, but it's shaky because I entered the wrong zone. Maya says, you're right, MOP. The kind of content can creep on you. It's so chaotic. Yes. It's scary, So I was like, Baba, calm down now, drink water. Anytime I said drink water, he catches it as an insult. That's what feminine energy does. It's chaotic by itself, and if he catches an opportunity to create more chaos, it creates more chaos. So now I have to now force myself to stay in my masculine frame to create some kind of synergy here. And do I have that level of patience? Probably not, because that would trigger me. Okay, what would trigger me? Because I can't stand men in feminine energy for a prolonged period of time. I can handle it small, but if a man cannot have conversations, especially with a fellow man that disagrees with him, that does test my patience. That's the reality. Okay, and that's why I think it's always best, for the most part, to not engage such conversations. So my budget to that henceforth is, I will donate 15 minutes. I will double, I might support some of the content creators that I like, and I'll just take the top and say, okay, this would be a good topic to share with my prestige family. Okay, these are the things you need to watch out for. These are the things that you need to watch out for. Okay, there is an active gender war going on. It is the fault of both sides. If you force me to pick one side, it is the men, because women don't decide to follow us. They follow us as a default. They might multiply what you bring and beat you at your own game, and it now looks like we should shame women. And now remember what he was saying. They asked him a simple question. So with all of this dust and nonsense, they didn't say it that way. The ladies were trying to be respectful to him. In other words, he was putting them in a masculine mode. Listen to me carefully. They were trying to be respectful to him. So with all of this dust, they said it very nicely, it's still masculine. If you have to put yourself in a position where you have to force yourself to control a man's emotion, ladies, you are effectively in your masculine mode. Okay? You cannot sustain it because the social construct does not help you to sustain that. Okay? That's just the reality. Anyway, so once they asked him, so with all this, what's the solution? You know what he said? He unmuted his nasty mic. I challenged him to a debate. But guess what? I've been challenging people to debate on TikTok for a while. They don't show up. They're cowards. Okay? Not men. Those type of men. They are the loudest on any of these platforms, but they can't really engage a certain level of conversation. If anything, they will emotionalize it. And the way they do that is they will call you out first on emotionalizing. They might even call you feminine first or call you a simp first. So it's a chaotic thing. Like, it's, unless you want to drag them, or unless you're ready to drag them, which I do sometimes. Shame on me, sorry. Sometimes I enjoy doing that. Anyway, so he was saying that shame, we need to bring shame back, which is a manosphere talking point. It's a manosphere talking point. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, by the way. Hit the like button. Thank you, guys. That is a manosphere. What do I mean by manosphere? I'm talking about Black American manosphere. Okay, for the most part, it's a Black American thing. I think some UK people, it's a westernized talking point. African culture actually don't allow us to do such thing, engage this kind of crazy conversations at this level where we lost our cool, where we lost our sense of manhood, and we now have to argue with women. Respect me, just submit yourself, and then marriage will work. Are you talking to the mirror, to yourself, or to the women that already told you they don't want? They already left you. 70-90% of the time, they dumped you. That's the first. See, I'm saying that so harshly because I wanted to shame too. It's a bad idea. Shaming people does not work. It only makes them overreact. It puts men in their feminine mode. And if you're dealing with women and you're attacking them, they will feel the need to protect themselves. Okay, so it's masculine. So it's not going to work. It's going to be. You get it? Don't worry. Okay, we shouldn't be talking about masculine or feminine if we're not talking about sexual polarity. By the way, okay. So I might have discombobulated right now. Just slow down. You know why it sounded that way? Because it's ridiculous. Why are we talking about masculine and feminine energy when there's no goal, there's no purpose? Are you trying to create sexual polarity? So what's the point? Okay, yeah, sometimes you're trying to create synergy in a debate, but in that same conversation, they are asking each other, women should respect, men should. In fact, you will see men prejudge women who is actually actively engaged in a debate with you. Say, see, you are masculine, but you engaged her in a debate. See the confusion? It's chaotic everywhere. It's chaotic everywhere. So he said, bring shame back. So I now said, make her ask him a question. I said, okay, so that was when I now created the question I was asking you that I was telling you guys earlier on. And the question say, if I say to men that marriage is not beneficial, tell me, this question might be confusing. I will receive it. We can always reconstruct it. You can always ask for clarity. Because if somebody said my question is not clear, I can always ask for clarity. That would be two adults having a conversation and say, hey, I understand, it's a lot of thoughts. And especially on a platform where they don't allow you to engage a person, they are timing you on how many questions you ask, which I don't want to do that ever again in my life. So I had to flip my thoughts into a question. So that was why I was creating this question. So, this is an interesting take he's taking. I hear this all the time. Bring shame back, right? Bring shame back is a very weak standpoint, okay? Especially if men are saying it. It's coming from a very weak standpoint. It's manipulation at best. Meaning, you want to jump all the way from creating values to bring shame back. Shame with respect to what value? What is the value? And then, so I now said, if I say marriage, he could detect me. Apparently, I should have known that he would be able to detect me because he sounded lame. But I don't want to prejudge people as lame and dumb. I don't like doing that. Believe me, it comes to me from a weak place. It's when I feel like I'm not getting my point across that I feel the need to do that. And that's not a safe place for me, for my brand, for everything I stand for. But anyway, I created this question. I should have read the room. I was wrong. I should have just laughed and dragged him in the comment like I usually do and left him alone. But but of course, my coconut head got the best of me. Thank you for everybody that hit the like. Are you guys hitting the like button? Let me see who I'm missing. I'm missing my likes. So 91% people say they've hit the like, but I feel like I'm missing some likes here. Let's see here. What do we have? Let's have it. Come on now. Okay, okay, all right, we got the likes in. Okay, so we just have to stay at this. How the hell is that the solution? Chinye says. So if I come like that, he will engage his feminine energy. But again, it's not about feminine energy because I'm not trying to sleep with this man. It doesn't really matter. He can engage his softest part of his life. I don't care. I should have been patient enough with him, or I should have just laughed and leave him alone. But sometimes when you go on those stages and you talk, you also gain followers, which is also part of the goal in general. So anyway, I now formulated this too much Oyibo of a question. I said, if I say marriage is not beneficial to men, I said to men because I know obviously it's taking sides with men. By the way, when you are obsessed with taking sides with men in all your rhetoric, you are enemy to men. You are misleading men, and it's not going to work. You are misleading men. They're going to go practice that stupid stuff with their wife, forgetting that you're not their wife. It's just a conversation, and they're going to collect. They will be one of the 70 to 90% of people getting dumped. Okay. Anyway, yeah, but it's just a conversation. They don't know. Just like you don't know, they don't know. They think it's real life. They don't realize that it's just another clown on the internet with a talking face. Anyway, so I said, if I say marriage is not beneficial to men and they are no longer marrying, they are disconnected from marriage. You know, they like to say that to themselves, like, men are no longer marrying anymore. They don't say men are no longer knocking though. If anything, they would like to knock. Some of them are not knocking, by the way, because they're lame. They don't know how to talk to women. So oftentimes they will talk themselves out of the coochie. That's the way it works for the most part. The stats are there too. Okay, men over 30% of them, they don't have sex, and this is a big problem. It's anger everywhere. Anyway, I'm interjecting myself way too much. If I say marriage is not beneficial to men and they are no longer marrying, Antifariga, they don't want to marry anymore, and then I turn around, man of Sea turns around, right, in order to keep them marrying, right, and I said, because you need the husband title. I said, because you need the husband title. I said, and I said, you have to stay married regardless. I said, would that be manipulation? I flipped the question around. I said the same thing with regards to shaming, right? If people are saying, you know, shaming, and me and you, I said, are you a professional, sir? He said, I am not a professional, be the Anyway, see why I was getting triggered. I said, you're not a professional. Oh, okay. My bad. That wasn't the question. If you're a professional and you're trying to solve a problem, especially as a man, quote unquote, the problem solver, the one that's never emotional, always logical, right? Wouldn't you assess the problem before you create a solution? They ask you for a solution, and the first thing that came out of your mouth is bring shame back. I said, shame comes from value systems. People only feel shame if they are actually personally, at a personal level, belief system connected to the value that would create, like, I feel sorry, I'm remorseful, so I have shame. Anything else outside of that, you are shaming. That is actually a manipulative tactic that simply doesn't work. It might work for a short term, it doesn't work long term. So I said, so as I was saying this, the guy was frustrated. The guy also, as soon as so I now said, you know, actually, I have a question. Let me finish the question. Let me translate. I said, you know what? And I'll give my thought. I said, shame is a source of value system. I said, so he now interjected me and then went into, yeah, you say, it says, do you even listen when you talk? That's what they do. They will start saying, do you even listen when you talk? These are all feminine, misplaced feminine energy, of course. So do you even listen when you talk? And I said, no, I'm not listening to you anymore. I said, no, that's I said, you know what? So I noticed that the moderators were I was getting triggered. Okay. I'm a human being. Okay. I noticed they were about to say, and I said, no, you're wrong. I said, I beg, shut up, Jerry. That was what I mean by getting triggered. This is my biggest trigger moment. I said, I beg, shut up, Jerry. Oh, more problems everywhere. They are right now on TikTok. I would not be sharing such platforms, particularly because I do think, for the most part, because the ladies that set up these platforms, I don't know if they listen to this behind the scene, but if they listen, good for them. These women are entangled up all the way up in whatever young men are calling masculine today. Okay? If you continue to engage on a daily basis, there are a few reasons why you might engage this kind of conversations. It's either you're looking to make money as a content creator, which is also a masculine trait, which there's nothing wrong with that. But everything will be wrong with it if you're not self-aware. Okay. The second reason why people might engage this kind of conversation on a regular basis like this, regardless of what your intentions are overrated. Okay. Whatever reason that you might have to engage this might be good intentions. You're trying to get your African brothers to get it right finally. All that is also masculine traits. Okay. If anything, you're probably going to enjoy engaging the toxic rhetoric, masculine. We had a man came on stage on TikTok yesterday, literally say, please, I beg you, just know I don't want to trigger anybody, but I will be doing toxic masculinity. I will be doing toxic masculinity. Who does that? So he's leading with toxic. He's basically saying, if you have fear that I will drag women to do, that's what I'm going to do. And of course, somewhere in between that, he managed to squeeze in that he's been married and all this kind of stuff. If you're happily married, it's going to be very hard for you to connect with this kind of conversation in a sustainable manner. You can connect. You can have this conversation one-offs, but sustainably for days, for hours, yeah, no, I don't believe it. That's all. I don't believe it. So this was one of the reasons why I created Man of Prestige about 4 years ago, 2021. Shout out to you, and B is the word. This is why I created a platform, because I kind of got tired of going on stages, and first of all, they won't let you talk. Second of all, I don't want to talk over people. Third of all, if I'm interjecting you, that means I'm ready to drag you. If I have to interject you, that means I'm ready to, especially if I don't really know you like that. If you're not my personal person, if it's just a stranger talking there on the internet, if I have to interject you, there's a good chance that I am now emotionally engaged, and I'm probably going to drag you, and you're not going to like it. Okay. So would I want to be in that kind of situation? No, it's not worth. I mean, you can pay, if you pay me for that, sure. That's some of the things I used to say. I said, if you pay me for that, yes, sure. But you have to pay me worthwhile. How much are you paying me to create content that's making 2 cents per 10 minutes to come? Nah, it's not worth it. You know, because some of these people are pigs, and they can swim better inside of water than you. So you're best not swimming with them. Occasionally is okay. Dragging a person. Mario says, I mean, these people just hate women because I don't understand them otherwise. Don't try to understand them. Don't try to understand them. The fact that there's a 70 to 90% divorces being initiated by women would make it make sense to me. Okay. But if we are going to translate that all the way, everybody is hurting from that. All sides of the gender will hurt from that. But even worse, children will hurt from it. And you see one side of the gender actively asking the other side question, and they already know the answer to the question. They're actually not listening. They're not listening. They already know the answer to the questions. They already know the answers that favor their feelings short term. And they are listening to respond, not to understand. And when I now think about that deeper, it makes sense to me why their marriages did not last. Because if you're listening to respond, that's all it takes to destroy a marriage. Okay? And you know what? In all of that conversation, they are usually much more obsessed with cheating and infidelity. They are much more obsessed with cheating and infidelity. The other side of things that they're engaged with is when you talk about, oh, it's finances that's causing it, because they see that in the stats. They're not capable of digging deeper and say, wait, what else is going on behind the scenes? What about pride? No, not the other person's pride. What about my own pride? What about accountability? Which means when it comes to romantic relationships, it means self-accountability. That's what it means. It doesn't mean holding other people accountable. It means self-accountability. If you do anything outside of self-accountability, you will be shooting yourself on the legs. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. But that's where your power is, and you are actively disengaging from your power. Because when you look at a romantic partner and all you want to do is hold them accountable, you think that feels like accountable on their end? No, it will feel like an attack. Guess what they do when they feel attacked? Feelings becomes perception, becomes reality. What do you think they do if they feel attacked? They will not love you and say, oh, thank you, my love, for holding me accountable. Yes, I believe in that. They might say it on a panel on the internet, because I see women do that sometimes. Like, you're right, you're right, you're right. If you're in bed with them inside the kwekus, I'll be you on their bola. You think that's going to play out like that? So what else is people learning exactly? What are they learning? Hold on, guys, hold on. All right. So This is a romantic partnership. Then they will end up with the other guy. Oh, marriage is not a partnership. What do you mean? There are two people involved. Well, over time I realized they're trying to say, well, a man is the leader. Okay, all right. That doesn't change it from the fact that it's partnership. Two things can be correct at the same time, right? But they're not that easy. Let's get deeper into why you feel the need to say marriage is not a partnership. Let's get into that pain, deep into that pain that you're dealing with that you will never admit, to why you're saying marriage is not a partnership. Because me, I don't feel attacked if somebody say marriage is a partnership. Okay, thank you for letting me know what I already know. But if you say marriage does not lead leadership, that one can trigger me small, but in a good way. I said, like, I'll be interested in you. Please tell me, what do you mean by marriage does not need leadership? Because me, what I heard is that your organization does not need leadership. That's what I heard. So I'm now interested. Like, you got my attention there. Like, interesting. What do you mean? Doesn't leadership? Oh, it needs to be egalitarian. Everybody do what works for them. Oh, how's that working out for you? Which is some of the things that the ladies are saying, which the ladies are all wrong too. You can't do what works for you in a marriage. No, you can't. Oh, then some people came back and they said, oh, we meant that every couple should do what works for them. If they were doing that and it was successful, why are we talking? Problem should have been solved. Usually people say that when they're not in agreement with a romantic partner. So can we go back to the drawing board and address the fact that they're not on the same page with their romantic partner? Yeah, but it is the fault of the men. These men are, it is DV. Well, we're not talking about DV. That is minority. One too many. We don't like that story. We don't like that story because it needs to stop. We'll address that when we get to that topic. Majority of people at the courthouse are not dealing with DV. They are dealing with simple but very complicated at the same time, very hard to address issues as manipulation, narcissistic traits, particularly when the narcissist, the one with the major narcissistic traits, is the one accusing you first of narcissism. And you never heard the word before. You're like all confused. You see what I'm saying? You see the confusion? The confusion is coming from all sides. So there's a place for the conversation of does marriage need marriage give protection to women at the societal level. There's a place for that conversation. Like yesterday they were talking about, I think they said marriage, why do men are getting triggered by women empowerment? No. Stop the cap, ladies. The kind of men you have been engaging are triggered by women empowerment. Okay, healthy men don't get triggered by women empowerment. It just doesn't make any sense. The only sense that makes to me is that you have been engaging men that are feeling threatened by women empowerment. Insecure men. That's not all men. It might be a lot of men. I don't know if it's majority. A lot of men are struggling with their sense of security from what I've seen. And yes, social media is reality too. Because some of them are just louder, but they're speaking the mind of a lot of men. So we can't exactly be dismissive, but we need to be addressing the real issues. It's very easy to come here and paint all men the same picture. No, I'm not going to take that from you either. I'm not going to take that from you. There's a lot of people that subscribe and not subscribe from here because of what I'm saying right now. Good for you. Good for you. But remember what I said? Self-accountability. It needs to come down to self. All of this stuff we're talking about comes down to self. Self. Tell it yourself. Self. You take your eyes off of self, you will attract all the negativity that this world has to offer. It's just what it is. That's how it works. Your power is in self-assessment, self-development, self-improvement. There are 7 billion people here. Your African culture is not the reason why your household is not together. It is not. And African culture is pied because you pied it, gentlemen. You killed it yourself because you will refuse to evolve. And you're using African culture as an excuse. There's no system, there's no sustainable systems in the history of mankind that's sustainable when people decide to use coconut head around change. Change is difficult for all of us, don't get me wrong. Change is super difficult for all of us. But when you create systems, one of the things you create systems for is to push against your carnal person. so that one person does not determine. But when you have one person becoming multiple people and they're influencing themselves to just stay stuck in something that clearly did not work. I asked a very simple question. I said, you say security, 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 and African culture was the most secure for women, but yet they left you just because they travel abroad. I beg, explain them to me. That means that African culture was not strong enough. Don't you think you should go back to the drawing board and find out where the loopholes are and fix it? Oh, no, we should just bring shame back. Shame was part, that thing you are calling shame was part of it before. Because that's what you're telling me. But somehow it has left it because you went across the ocean. Last one. That's it. No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but you need to explain it better. Because if you don't explain it, then you are just trying to shame women into submission. Could it work? It cannot work. It's not a curse. You're just saying that because women will now start dropping panties in your DM. You like it. I did not bring women up. You brought it up. And unfortunately, all this rhetoric, they're going to engage you for cruise, for entertainment, to their own detriment, but they still won't sleep with you. If they did, it won't last because they can't see, there's no sexual polarity. Everything is all short term. It's all short term. So what is the solution? Well, first of all, assess the situation. Remove yourself first, your own personal story that you refuse to admit to. Remove it first. Okay? And let's see how you can sustain the conversation. If you can't, then maybe we're wrong. We need to go back to your own story, your own personal story. What happened to you? You don't want to discuss it on a public YouTube platform? Of course, rightfully you shouldn't. Then seek help. Find help. Talk to someone that has been through it and come out on the other side. You're looking for a submissive woman? They're everywhere. That's literally what they do. Submit all day. If you want to bring basketballs, they will turn it to basketballs for you. They are submitting to how you behave, not your talking. Your words are small. They will multiply their experience for you. That's what they do best. What do you mean multiply? So we shouldn't hold them accountable? Hey, continue. Is it working? How's it working out for you? Anyway, let me address some questions, then we'll get into the topic of the day. Unfortunately, this is gonna be, we're gonna have fun today, guys. We're gonna have some fun. Okay, promise. Being is the worst. Says what happens when the self-accountability is one-sided. There's no such thing. That usually means you don't trust the process of reciprocity. That means you don't trust the universal law of reciprocity, right? For every yin, there's a yang. You get it? We're talking about sexual polarity now, okay? If you create sexual polarity, is because there was seeds sown. There was masculine energy that did not get misplaced. All right? And that is a process. Seeds were sown. Sun happened. The weather was just right. Somebody protected it. And in due season, they harvested. They didn't expect to harvest on that same day. They didn't say, oh, it's a give and take. Meaning, as I give to you, give and take back. They don't say any of that nonsense, right? A farmer, a very wise farmer, right? Sowed the seed, protected it, nurtured it. Yes, nurturing. Yes, only women nurture. Stop the cap. They only multiply the level of nurturing you bring. You protected it, and in due season you harvest. When you harvest, what happens? It's multiplied. And then, you know what the internet Gen Z generation, or not Gen Z, but Gen Z generation, sorry, Gen Zs, right? You know what they do? They will come and say you are lucky. You just happen to be lucky to sustain 10 years, 15 years, 18 years in a marriage. It was just by mistake. It was just all luck. It was God on your side. That's what they say to themselves to make themselves feel good. Do I enjoy luck? Hell yeah, I enjoy luck. But for you to think it's all luck, interesting. So just think it's all luck that somebody has been in a marriage for 30 years, successfully, happily. Yeah. Or it's only because the woman has been subjugated, ladies. It's only because they are punishing that lady in that marriage. Okay, all right.
You're right.
Nah, stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Actually, you're wrong. You're wrong. That luck thing, right? We all enjoy it. You two, you're lucky to be alive today now. That has nothing to do with where people sustain a state. A state, something that's supposed in this world right now, average marriage is 80 years. Among millions of marriages. And somehow the one that's doing it and they are coming to you and they're offering a word. You say, oh, they've been out of the game, so they have nothing to offer. Sure. No, that part you're actually right.
Oh, you're right.
You're right. Problem solved, right? Problem solved.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it. All right.
But let me answer the question properly, because I want to make sure I answer the question. What happens when the self-accountability is one-sided? There's no such thing, okay? You have to trust. You have to deliberately, intentionally trust the law of reciprocity. Self-accountability was actually not, it wasn't designed for the other person. It's designed for yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's designed so that you can take charge of your own life. So you can take charge of the type of experience you attract. Remember that in the midst of that self-accountability, you have to hold yourself accountable to self-respect, self-love, right? You have to hold yourself accountable to making sure your tank is full before you attempt to pour into other people. Self-accountability does not equal to pouring into other people, okay? Self-accountability in itself is sustainability. That is actually sustainability itself. Like sustainability on steroids. Because you put yourself in a position where you're engaged with your power and you're not depending on another person to give you power. Because power is taken, it is not given. No one is going to give you power. See, when men are saying that 70% and 90% of women are leaving the marriage, I said, yeah, I know. What are you going to do? Walk away and mean it. Don't be doing basketballs back and forth with people you're walking away from. Because if you keep doing that, I am forced to interpret that as you're weak. You're not able to walk away. You don't know how to negotiate, because negotiation, the best position for negotiation is to be willing to walk away and mean it. If you cannot sustain that, then that means there's value you're getting from these people that's walking away, but you're not admitting it. It is not working. At some point, self-accountability. So it goes back to self-accountability. Where did that go wrong? That's the first step. That's the first. If there's any other steps after that, at least that is the first step. Okay? Self-accountability is the reason why you will walk away from a situation that just seems like it's threatening your safety. That is self-accountability. Self-accountability is only possible when you're alive. I'm not talking about victims at all. I'm talking about when you are still capable of doing accountability of any type. Do self-accountability. Don't wait until the government, God forbid, have to do accountability on your behalf and you're no longer here. Am I making sense? Self-accountability is your power. That's what accountability means when it comes to romance. Okay? It means you're taking charge. It means you're in direct. So what about the other person? The other person, you should be pouring into them. If you're not capable of pouring into them because it's just that bad, pour back into yourself. Self-accountability. Self-accountability. Did I say that enough? Oh, sorry. I can't finish saying it today now. I can't. Who married who? I heard that one this week. Problems. Partnership isn't always 50-50. Exactly. Right? Partnerships of all types. If I own 2% stake in your situation, that is partnership. That's an active partnership. Right? That's where some people get triggered. Yep. Marriage needs leadership, which is the bedrock of the union. You're gonna need some type of leadership. Okay? Leadership means responsibility. It's not a free pass. Leadership means somebody is carrying the responsibility, overall responsibility, and society is set up in a way to society and our social reality is set up in a way to create survival for us, you know. And sometimes that shifts, that changes mode. That you have to pay attention. The leaders especially need to pay attention to where the shifts are coming from and not yield to shaming tactics. To shaming the other person. That's not going to work. They're going to feel attacked. And remember, they have they have choices, and they will exercise those choices to their own detriment, even if that's what it becomes. Because sometimes people will make moves. You see a bunch of people on TikTok saying, I regret my divorce. Some men will tag onto that and say, you see, you can. It's not so quick. They regret their divorce because they have choices. People will run away from you at their own detriment, if that's what it comes down to. But guess who go suffer? Your children still. So if I'm asking you, like, calm down, don't wait until you have to shame a woman who already dumped you. Just get this thing together right now. Put it together. Everybody will benefit from it. But that's harder. You would rather engage toxic people that have failed on the internet. It's okay, I understand it. It's part of human behavior. I'm saying it out loud so that we can get something from it. Don't worry, I'm not in a hurry today. I was going to be in a hurry, but I've changed my mind. Being MOP, you're complicating this simple issue. A couple having issues goes to a relationship therapist. It became obvious that both weren't self-accountable. They agreed to change. Then one spouse, let me see, is there a continuation here? Then one spouse committed to self-accountability, whereas the other remained pig-headed. How sustainable will this be healing their union? I'll tell you what. It's not going to be sustainable. Not just because of what you said. It's not going to be sustainable because your attention is more so on holding the other person accountable. That's why. And so you call this self-accountability, but it's not. You're trying to hold the other person accountable. It still goes back to the same thing. It's not, I understand, it's not simple math. You have to think about human beings. We are spiritual beings. It's not 1 + 1. It's a 1. The other person do 1. That's not how it worked when you met that person. Somebody said, will you marry me? Somebody said, I like you. Sometimes you take the other person time before you know, I think I like her. It's not basketballs. It's not tit for tat. That mindset alone, it tells me it's not a true self-accountability. And it also tells me you're not taking care of yourself. Because sometimes you have to just leave people alone for a while. You just allow time, patience. Particularly in romantic relationships. You have to know when to back off. You have to know when to do that. And dragging people to counselorship is a no-no. That's another thing that I heard from what you said. They might go out of, because they have shame too. Remember, they're trying to say, they say at least. When you leave something with at least, they really don't want to be there. They say at least I gave it my best. Yeah. That attention, you give so much attention to the other person, they are going to keep running away from you. Directly or indirectly. Experience. Focus on the experience that you are creating. You guys are turning this to a whole coaching session. Focus on the experience that you, as a bona fide, autonomous human being, a sexy person that you are, because you attracted that person once upon a time. Focus on the energy you're creating. It doesn't mean it is your fault. You are actively looking for faults and blames, as opposed to, wait, where's my power? Where is my power? My power is in the hands of the other person. Let me just take it back. It's not going to work. They will give you the power if you know what you're doing. Is that what you want? That's the end goal, right? Oh yeah, they will give you the power. Especially if the person we're talking about is a man. He will hand you over the power. Trust me. But you have to know the right move button to press. It's definitely not accountability in the terms of holding the other person accountable. It's not going to work. Self-accountability, and you have to trust that universe will do what it does best. It will align it all together. If you can't trust that, that's part of the reasons why it's not working, because they can smell it. They can smell you're basically smothering everything to bye to death. Right? They can smell that you have nothing else to do with your life than just them. You just want to manipulate them. You call it accountability. You want to manipulate them to stay there. Take care of yourself. Just focus on that for the next 3 days, and let's see if their energy doesn't change. They start getting curious. What is she up to? They start snoop because they're not used to you, that you're self-sustainable. They know that you always, they're not thinking it like that, or it's not out loud, but it's a subconscious thing. It shocks their system that somehow suddenly you're not trying to drag them through another therapist or some man of prestige or the internet. that knows everything about it. They will yield to you because you know what you're doing. They're not going to yield to you because you say so. That's not going to work. The same thing is true on the other side. The dynamics is a little bit different from gender to gender, but the same thing is true. All right? The same thing is true. Influence, your power of influence is what you need to focus on. Everything else is controlling behavior. It might not look like your typical African man controlling behavior, but it is all controlling behavior. All right? And if that seems unfair, that word is one of the problems. You're looking for fairness as opposed to looking for your power. If that seems unfair, I'm sorry. This is just how it works. He says self-accountability can lead to divorce. Then maybe that divorce should happen. Because what else did you have? Anyway. What else did you have? Did you really have a marriage? MOP's humans' ability to perceive and observe aren't switched off by self-accountability. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Sorry, MOP. I beg to differ about waiting for the young to meet the self-accountable Ying. Listen, you're right.
You're right.
You're right, bro or sis. I don't know if you're a sister or a bros. You're right. Sounds like it's working out. Okay, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Let's talk about Yul-Edochie. Okay, let's talk about Linc, Edochie, Yinka, Edochie. Oh no, no longer Edochie. Let's talk about Yinka. I don't know her last name. Let's talk about Edochie. We have a big conversation to have here. Let's catch up on that family. This life. All right, I'll be right back.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, welcome back. How na day? Let's talk about Linc Edochie, who is a brother to Yul-Edochie, and brother-in-law to Queen May Yul-Edochie. If you guys know, we've been covering these people for a while. Since 2022, I think we've been covering them. As soon as that guy came out and announced a fake polygamy, I called it out immediately. Because it was obvious to me. I understand these things are not always obvious to everybody else. There are people on both sides of the gender supporting you. It's not about supporting or not supporting him. It's about simple principles of life that work the way they work. It's just what it is, you know. And whenever somebody is out here loudly saying African culture, know that they don't practice African culture and they are struggling. Okay, it's a coping mechanism. Okay, because African culture is not something you force to practice. It's either you have it or you don't have it. I am a big fan of the true African culture. Okay, in fact, I'm an African man at the core. Okay, that's who I am. I couldn't shake it off. Okay, I was raised in Nigeria, Okearo to be precise. Akure, well, a little bit of Owa too. All right. Yes, I was born in the United States. Yes, I spent most of my life here in the United States. Yes, my English might sound a bit too posh for people that were raised in Nigeria. But trust me, okay? I'm literally trying to get people back to the streets. Not to live in the streets, but to understand streets a little bit more, okay? You need to understand it because oftentimes people yield to basketballs from a street standpoint when they can't have their way. And using gra-gra is not going to help you. That gra-gra stuff is not going to help. Okay? My wife will say, you need to have the key. Sometimes I call it leverage. Sometimes I call it your power. Right? If you don't have the key, you go just collect. Speaking of collecting, in the name of accountability, being is heard. You go just collect. Woes. Well, it's not usually physical. Most of them are not physical. Most of them are people getting dumped in their marriage, and it's not physical, but it will feel physical. All right, and one of them that collect wutu is Yul-Edochie, and since for the last 3 years or so, he's been trying to flip it to something else and tell us, all of us, that we don't know what we're doing. At one point, he became a pastor. Later on, he became a traditional. Oh no. It was rooting for traditionalists, and then they mixed that up with the support for Tinubu. And then later on, he came back to, he's a traditional pastor now. Confusion at its best. But this young lady, Yinka, just got dumped. Yinka was supposed to be a wife-in-law, I guess. Is that what they call it? Sister-in-law to Yul-Edochie. They were getting very close. I think they might have actually gotten married. I'm not sure. I'll pull that up in a second. But she got dumped because today is my day to prove to you that this is not a gender matter. This is a matter of people that don't know how to seduce a partner, people that don't know how attraction works, people that when attraction fails, they want to yield to rules and regulation or a structure or African culture, right? That's what this message is going to be for. Anybody can collect. Anybody.
Sorry, yo.
You know the saddest part about that? The children self go collect.
Sorry, yo.
That's the saddest part about that. And I don't like that. I don't like people putting children in harm's way. Even if the children is grown, I don't like that. That's one of the things that can trigger me. You know. Basically say Yul is crazy. He doesn't know what he's doing. Jack of all trades. Being is the word. Being is the word. Okay. I just spelled it properly. They were only engaged. Okay, they were only engaged. Okay, interesting. Anyway, let's come back a little bit. Right? So May Yul-Edochie was married to you for about 24 years. Up to 2022. I don't think they finalized their divorce yet. Yul-Edochie is an actor. It's a Nigerian Nollywood actor. Used to be, because I don't know, is he still in movies? I think he's still acting, but it's not on Netflix anywhere. It's not on any super movie anywhere. You know, that's some of the things I think he did to himself. I think he really messed with his brand the wrong way, because honestly, a lot of people, they're not sure what to see. I feel they're not sure what to meet if they try to do business with him. So, but Yul also is the son of Pete Edochie. Pete Edochie is a legendary Nollywood actor. So he was married to this young lady, May. Everybody calls her May now, Queen May. For 24 years. I mean, they're very young to be married for 24 years. I think they said they got married back in 2004, you know, after a 6-year courtship. So, there's a video I saw floating around where he was saying that's a long time to be. It is a long time, but they were also very young, so it's understandable that they might have courted for so long, you know. So Yul, of course, I think he became an actor. Everybody loves him, you know, as an actor. You know, even me, I enjoy some of the scenes. I don't really watch Nollywood like that, but I enjoy some of the scenes that I've seen. But what we're getting from some of the admissibly by him too, I think that's the right word. He admitted to it, anyway. With his own mouth, this young lady really helped him out. Was part of the reason for his success. She was always behind the scenes, helping his career. I mean, I think she studied computer engineering, so her skills was very useful. Analytical skills and things like that behind the scenes was very useful. You know, even the father, Pete Edochie, credited May Edochie for the success of their once upon a time family. So, but then there was a rumor. That was about to happen. Now, as you know, this kind of stories, instead of people to actively engage it and see where they can learn some lessons that will help them engage their power, what they usually do is engage the gender warrior perspective to things. You know, that's what people typically do, unfortunately, you know. So, but anyway, she was helping him. She was helping him behind the scenes for the longest time. They were married. Nobody knew he was married because obviously we're coming from an era where a superstar, a rock star, which I think is still a rock star, Somebody's like, don't call him a rock star. No, he's still a rock star. He just needs to know how to flip all this attention. But Coconut Head is not anybody's mate. What's the likelihood he will flip all this attention into money? Zero. Almost zero, I should say. There's still a small chance, but it's highly unlikely. Because Coconut Head is not your mate. Pride. The two reasons why all these marriages are scattering. Pride. Unrealistic expectations. Coconut Head is not your mate. And pride is you know, at the very core, it's supposed to be a good thing. You need a sense of pride. The same reason why you say, I'm working on myself. The other person is moving mad. I don't know what's going on with them, but first, let me work on myself. That's a prideful thing to do, but healthy, right? But you see, the flips, pride is not exactly good or bad. It's a double-edged sword. When you use it the other way, right? You just caught yourself. Because why? Because you need the other person to be wholesome before you become wholesome. It's a problem everywhere. But of course, as you can see, Yul-Edochie, if you look at his demeanor, if you look at the way he carries himself, his pride, is prideful. Some people say, but he's an Igbo man. Igbo man carry themselves pride. I know a lot of fine Igbo men with healthy levels of ego and pride, and no, they're not going to be stupid to throw their family away in the name of pride. I know a lot of them too. Okay. As a matter of fact, I feel sometimes like I relate with Igbo people more. Okay, I'm not talking about the loud ones on the internet. The loud ones on the internet, they are lame, just like a bunch of Yoruba people or anybody from any group of people on the internet that are loud. Okay, it's the same thing, same issue. They can express themselves slightly differently. Some other groups of people might look like they are more in that direction, but you're probably confusing it with the fact that we all have certain level of pride that is healthy, that makes you say, no, I am enough. Okay, like, you know, when they say I am proud, what they saw, the black people say, I am black and proud. I am proud. Say it out loud. I'm a black and proud thing, right? That type of pride, that's healthy until you start to self-sabotage. That's when it becomes a problem. It's a double-edged sword. Anyway, so you know, the same way he spoke of his wife at the time, he was speaking of May very, very nicely. Anybody who is healthy will be like, oh, interesting, he's been married, and he's saying out loud, he said like, well, yeah, I was married to this, I've been married to this young lady. You didn't know that, right? In a video that I saw, I was like, this was a fine young man that could have turned out really, really good. But remember, pride is a double-edged sword. It can, if you don't know what you're doing, anybody can end up in a pot of, anybody, including me, if you don't control your pride. Anybody fit collect. And pride will always show up from a blind spot. You might confuse it with what man of Precis said once upon a time. Like, oh, you said everybody should have pride, and then you didn't listen all the way through. That it can cut you if you don't know what you're doing. You didn't listen all the way through. It can cut you. That's why you have to keep an open mind. You always have to keep working on yourself, because the world is moving. So if the world is moving and you stay stagnant in the name of African culture, you go collect now. Naturally. Because it's not, this whole thing is not your mate. Nobody is bigger than the principles that guide this life. Nobody. So when we say humility, some people are so humble, it is pride. Christians, Nigerian Christians, everybody might collect. You are so humble. Your humility, you didn't know when it crossed the line to the other side, through your blind spot. What are you saying exactly? You're confusing us. Just wait. You have to be patient. Anyway, so the way he carries himself, I was saying, you know, this is going to be a long story. I'm trying to bring us up to speed. One day, he came to the internet. Well, apparently, I found out later on that it was Gistlover that was attempting to drag him. Okay? And according to Gistlover at that time, they said he had secretly went to pay for a bride price for a mistress who had left her marriage at the time. Or maybe some few years before that, Judy Austin. So he had went to pray for it. So in order to control narrative, something that controlling people that are misguided, controlled people try to do, something that a lot of all the loud men on the internet, most of them, that's what they're doing. They're trying to control the narrative. When they lose their power of influence, right? When they want to hold you accountable, right? What they do is like they will now start getting louder and louder, thinking that hoping that someday, one day, or maybe enough women will just hear the right thing and go back to their husband's house finally, because we don't want single mothers in our streets. It's controlling, manipulative behavior, of course. So, but never mind that another woman left her husband's house and then moved in with him, and then he went in the name of Odogu, he went and paid for the bride price according to Gislova at the time. So of course, in an attempt to jump ahead of the narrative, he came out announcing his new son, 2022. He announced his new son, and he said, don't quote me verbatim, but something like, this is his new son from his second wife. And everybody was like, second wife? What do you mean, second wife? First of all, that's not your persona, okay? But second of all, we can see through you. You're not a polygamist. As in, like, you're not capable. That's not who you are. It's like, no, that's who I am. I'm a traditional man. In Africa, we are traditional. What did I do? We're live right here. I think we're only less than 2 years into Man of Prestige, right? I said this one is a fake polygamist. How do I know? Well, first of all, this woman, the first wife, the one that you've praised so much in the past, is about to dump you. That's number one. And if she waits an inch more of time, if she waits another second more, the dumping will feel more hurtful. It will hurt you even more. As in, you go collect.
Sorry, yo.
So actually, the best thing that happened to him is that May dumped him immediately. But May, being a natural human being too, I mean, she's been cooking this marriage for what, like about 18 plus years at a time. The last thing she wants to do is dump her husband. So if anything, it will create confusion. The same confusion that you see a lot of young ladies on the internet have right now. They're listening to quote unquote fake traditional men, right? But at the same time, something in them tells them this is all wrong. So it's creating at best confusion. At best, right? Every woman that I personally know in my personal life loves chivalry. All of those women, probably about 80% of them will say equality, equality, chivalry, equality, confusion. Oh, but it's not the same. Well, it might not be the same for you. It might not create confusion for you, but I guarantee you, majority of the men you're dealing with are confused. You want chivalry, you want me to open the doors for you, at the same time you want equality. How is that equality? And to the point that some of those men are so confused too. The men are also confused. They asked a young man on the stage in TikTok yesterday, he said, so between a young lady was asking equality or equity, which one do you think we should go for? He said, we need equality and equity. I just told everyone that could listen. I said, listen, any man asking for equality from you, it's not going to give you equality because it's dangerous for you. Okay? If he can't adjust the conversation to the point of equity, understanding that we don't all start from the same place, if he can't even think that far, that man, he's going to hold you accountable. You know what that looks like when a man is spending all his days in a relationship with you holding accountable? How would you like that for equality? Let's hold each other let's hold each other accountable. Equality in the name of equality. Maybe that's what you want. Equality. Would you like that? You never see anything yet. So you guys were complaining of the modern women before. You never see anything yet when it comes to the modern men. I've been watching this for about 5-6 years. For 5-6 years. Mara said I saw that video. I didn't hear pride. I heard now so we see him. Oh, maybe it's perspectives, right? I might be shaping things in my views. Shame I can't get women. That's what I heard. Oh, that's what you heard? Interesting. Has this been going on that long? 4 years? No, 2022. It's 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. Hi, Ice. Good to see you. All right, so let's get back into the story. I'm just telling you the story, how we got to this point of Yinka getting dumped. Yinka is the sister-in-law to be. As of a few days ago, was supposed to be the sister-in-law for Yul-Edochie, and Yul-Edochie was actually quite happy about that until And everything seemed to have ended in Pafuka allegedly. Well, I saw her post as well. Okay. So, of course, because of our Catholic faith, of course, there's a good reason to do what your spirit tells you to do or what you're capable of doing. It's one of those two. It's either what you're capable of doing. Some people have it in them. They have enough self-security in them, then they walk away. Remember, the best position for negotiation is to be willing to walk away and mean it. Right? And how would you be in a position to be able to walk away and mean it? That means you have self-empowerment, you have adequacy when it comes to self-empowerment. You know your power, you know that this is not the end of the world, you know that marriage is not a do or die, you know that if you're going to do marriage, which marriage is beautiful and that's what everybody should be doing, but you know it has to be done right. Because if you don't do it right, you will come back a few years from now and tell us that I'm just not built for marriage. Like, not everybody is supposed to be married. Wait, tell me the rest of your story. No. It's just a general conversation. It's just why do you need to know my personal life? Alright. Hit the like button. I need a button that will change my voice. My wife and I watched a video yesterday where the guy was changing his voice. That would be a lot of fun. Anyway, the reality is that not everybody will be married. But when you say not everybody, if you come out loud on this internet and tell me not everybody is supposed to be married, I'm calling cap. Okay, I'm calling cap. There's something else you're trying to tell me, and I might not call you cap, but I'll listen long enough. I will hear it. Because I want to hear it, so I will just listen. I won't trigger you. I will just wait until you tell me. Okay. There are people that don't want to be married. They're usually not in this type of conversation. The key word is usually. If you want to be married, that's a beautiful thing. I'm just saying, don't lie to yourself, because if you lie to yourself, the universe will receive it as the truth. You'll become a truth teller. I'm just telling the truth. Okay, all right, I believe you. Let's keep going. Anyway, so of course, May, she considers herself a grounded Catholic faith person. She used that as the excuse, and she said she does not want to do polygamy. That's all it takes. That's how we're going to catch you. That's how we know if you're truly a polygamist or not. Because if you're a true polygamist, you are usually, you know what you're doing when it comes to the women in your life. You can at least a little bit seduce them into spending life with you and another woman. Because there are people that do it successfully. Do you see, I know he's a billionaire, but let me use it as an excuse. Okay? Shamefully. Do you see Baba Okoya, the husband of Shadi Okoya, on the internet say, I'm a polygamist. In Africa, we do polygamist. Do you see that? Let me take it all the way back. Do you see Dangote saying, I'm a traditionalist, so I'm not going to marry, I'm going to stay? Do you see? They don't have time for that kind of shit. They don't. They just don't. So, but of course, people like Yul have, it's the hero of a lot of fake traditional men on the internet right now. And of course, he came right in his face to the public. The wife refused to be a co-wife. She doesn't want to be a part of a co-wife setup, which means we have a failed polygamist. One of the problems that they have is they cannot see a result and call it, this is the result that I created. It doesn't have to be my fault. It doesn't have to be a matter of blame. I can just see that for what it is. I failed. I was supposed to be a polygamist. I'm marrying a second wife and my first wife dumped me. I failed at my attempt to polygamize myself. But of course he won't admit that, So of course the way he responded to that was basically maligning Mary online. Yul-Edochie was maligning her, and he was openly celebrating the affair with Judy Austin, having baby. They're still doing it up to now. And unfortunately, sadly, in the middle of all that celebrating the side chick and all that kind of, well, not, they say he paid bribe. Igbo people said don't say side chick because they paid bride price. Okay, sorry. The first wife, the new first wife, because it's not a polygamist. Remember that. Okay, the new first wife. What should we call her? Anyway, let's just call her Judy Austin, right? In the middle of doing all that dance, they're doing TikTok dance and then dragging themselves on the internet. Of course, we were dragging the story here on Men of Receipt. We're learning from it. Some of you were here from day one and you were learning from that. Some of you decided from that series 3 years ago to become a prestige family. Shout out to you if that was when you discovered us. But anyway, the doors are still open. You can subscribe. You can join the family. Unfortunately, a tragedy hit that family. They lost their first son. And I don't know if anything could be worse than that. I don't know. 2 weeks later, within a few weeks, I don't know if it was 2 weeks, about a few weeks later, Yul and his official new first wife, by way of bride price, is dancing on the internet. Dancing on the internet. Our biggest video here is me reacting to Judy Austin when she came out and called the whole internet out. Like, are you going to tell a man how to mourn the cry of his son? And basically dragged all of Nigerians, all of you monitoring spirits. She dragged all of them. Our biggest video here has 25,000 views. Is that video of me reacting to it. But anyway, that tragedy hit. They lost that son. And I think at that point, I almost felt like it was personal for me. Because that boy, such a fine young man that was growing up, and they lost him like that in the middle of that foolishness that the father created. You know, the reality is that people of all ages, they die from time to time. You know, people of all ages die all the time. But the worst thing is to watch all of that play out on the internet. It just didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel right. In fact, for a while now, a lot of time I will refuse to do any Yul-Edochie story because, frankly, I was getting tired of it until Yinka decided to plug herself. Until Yinka decided to plug herself in the people's mess. Anyway, that rift is still going on between that family. I think they're still in court, you know. In the middle of all that drama, there was a guy, Yul's brother, Yul-Edochie. That's him that you're looking at on the screen, right in the middle of the thumbnail. Okay. Let me, pardon my manners, hit the like button. Let's take a quick pause. Hit the like button. Let me read some of your chats while I continue the story. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's go here. So being is the word says, I don't believe in equality among humans. Equity is what we should emphasize. Exactly. Shout out to you. That's exactly what I'm saying. Everybody, you can't call Dogba. If these fingers are not equal, you will be unrealistic fighting for equality. Every finger has their strength. They have a role that they play, right? And the moment you try to make this thing equal, you're going to collect with the
Sorry.
Why? Because it's foolishness. Well, Ola, today we have lab scientists. They can actually cut it equal and make it equal. After all, we're in the Gen Z era. This Gen Z will never accept any of this nonsense. So I beg. Collect another one.
Sorry.
You can't call Dogba. There's no such thing as equality. It's a useless fit. And I don't mean to teach you English. Actually, I do, but it's not. Don't worry about that. I'm just trying to get you to see deeper. We want something better than equality. Now, everybody don't start from the same place. What we want is equity that will work for everybody, including the tall finger. The tall finger also has a disadvantage compared to this when it comes to their different strengths and weaknesses. Anyway, I hope that was clear. Thank you for that. Being is the word. MOP, loved it when you said women craving to make money off content is in their masculine energy. MOP, thank you. Yeah, that's a big deal. It's masculine trait. It's not a negative all the way. It's negative when you don't know what I just said. That's when it becomes true negative. When you lack self-awareness around that, or I mean, you are arguing with me about this. You can't argue with me. You can't argue with your destiny. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. Thank you for that, Ice Ice. To me, any woman all about money. Yeah, they'll create struggle when it comes to romantic within this social construct. It's just the way it's set up. Sorry. Look, I am not against any kind of marriage, but get your kind. Don't say A and later remember you are an African man and you want another kind. Problems. There's no such thing as this, whatever they mean by African woman. It doesn't exist, which is why they're struggling. Right? We're all African people. We all have African culture in us. If you are African at all, if you were raised in Africa at least, I know that you have it in you. It's just, it will show up when it's the right timing. And we're all westernized too. Because a man arguing on the internet with a bunch of women, that is a westernized idea. Westernized, feminized. I don't even know where to go with this one now. Anyway, for laughs, congratulations, Linc, for winning the golf tournament. If not, Auntie Chunky has wakad. She would have choked us with Odogu. Oh, okay. This congratulations to him. Does he live in America? I wonder. Anyway, he didn't pay anything, but didn't want the baby mama narrative Judy has used. Oh, okay, so he was trying to manipulate us with the bride price thing too. Interesting. Eyesight is following this story. Mara said, wild times. It was shocking. Yeah, I think you're talking about the son, right? Auntie Chunky, aka defender of the Yul-Edochie, she has never entered client. There's a lot of women on the internet who will just take the sides of defending men without understanding, without taking the time to understanding what we're talking about. You cannot be a man defending more than me. I'm the defender of men. Why? Because I'm a man. Not to reintroduce myself like the African social media men, but I'm a man. This is my reality. I can relate with their pain. I know the pain. When men say women struggle with accountability, I know what they mean. It's painful. I know what they mean. Trust me. I know when you've overworked yourself as a man. And so everybody say, man is supposed to carry the weight, and you get to the point you're just weak. You're like, Jesus, I try to do this. I try to talk, right? My client yesterday said to me, a Caucasian man, said to me yesterday, "Is African man? No, everybody is struggling with this. Let me just shows up a little differently." The guy said, sometimes, you know, I'm trying to lead. She will not allow me to lead. And then when I back off, she'll be like, you don't even care. So it's creating frustration. I know what you mean. I can relate. The African man will jump on the internet and let me stamp my feet and make you know that I am an African man. Don't you know I'm a man? And the auntie said, you guess what? I'll call the police on you because you banged that table. I don't feel safe. Like, it's because you've been listening to Man of Prestige. Man of Prestige said, call the police if you don't feel safe. Yes, I said that. And I'll continue to say, you too, gentlemen, call the police if you don't feel safe. If she doesn't know how to keep her hands to herself, call the police immediately. Preferably, or if it's a Friday, so she can sleep in jail for 3 days. So she can learn how to keep her hands to herself. You see how that works? It's just principles. Protector. Anyway. I'm on the road. I'm having fun. God have mercy. Let's continue. So some ladies, I think we love it. I love when a woman feels a yearn, a urge to take sides with a man. Precisely, pick me. You proud yourself in calling yourself a pick me. But that wasn't the point though, but it's okay. I like it too. I love it. Me, I'm a human being now. I love it when you take sides with me as a man. But there's a good chance you don't know what we're talking about yet. You have no idea. You have not listened long enough. Maybe you have a brother. Maybe you can relate at a personal level. And you just can't stand when manipulative women take advantage of men. I get it. I understand. But you see, the same rules apply to all of us. You have to listen long enough. You have to make sure you know what you're talking about before you turn your personal situation into a generalized view. Everybody is collecting in this gender war thing.
Sorry, yo.
You see, naturally, because a lot of men are effeminated now, if I'm holding them accountable from this public platform like this, they see me as an enemy. I understand them if they feel like I am a simp, or I understand them. The only thing it tells me is that they are the true simp. They want to collect. They don't collect from a woman, be that.
Jesus is Lord.
I understand it. I'm patient because I get paid for it too. Okay, I'm patient to deal with it. But if you're going to take sides, chill. How about don't take sides? How about just understand what's going on? It's going to be hard because we all generalize. We all generalize for our point of views. But try a little bit harder, because that's where your power is. That's how you understand. Like, let me see what's going on here. Self-awareness, accountability. Remember, that means self-accountability, right? Self-awareness, emotional intelligence, social intelligence. All those things will come to play when you're trying to understand this. Men, they are being pushed hard against in terms of power. It looks like somebody's trying to take their power away from them. You will not be able to take that power, number one. Number two, if they don't know what they're doing, they're going to become feminine in the way they react to that. Literally, they will overreact. Guess what you do best, ladies? You multiply that. Oh God, help me. It gets worse and worse and worse. So how do we solve this? Bring it back to self. You as an individual. Stop pretending like this is your social problem. It is personal. Bring it back to self, okay? Because in all of this, some people are having a good time. They are having a good time. Some people have healthy relationships. I don't know if they're 5%, 10%, 20%. You only need your own story to become part of that 10%. My estimation, if I was going to use any type of estimation for my school of thought, is 3%. So now a lame person is going to come on the internet and tell you that, well, the odds are against you. Don't you know the statistics? No, the odds are not against you. All you have to do is choose self, and then you can change your story. That's all it takes. What is 3% of 7 billion? You don't have enough people in that? There's not enough people? But if you notice that everybody around you have been moving mad, what do? You check yourself. Check yourself. Remove yourself. If that's what check yourself means. Remove yourself. Because people only respond to two things: pain and pleasure. I like when that happens. Everybody can tell now that I'm using an iPhone for camera. Pain and pleasure. They're not going to respond to how fast you talk or how slow you talk, or let me try to be gentle. Let me talk like a feminine woman. If you have to say that to yourself, that's masculine. That means you don't feel safe. If you have to say, listen to what I just said carefully, it's deep. If you have to say, let me talk like a feminine woman, that is a masculine behavior. I know. It's so complicated. No, it is not. You need to pay attention to everything else besides the words, the experience, the people's actions, not just one-time action over a period of time. There's no one event that determines any definition anywhere. Okay, I can get caught up in my feminine energy occasionally. That's possible. I can get caught, I can get triggered. But if you notice that this is how I move, that's obviously going to create problems, because no one is going to feel safe around me, because they see me as a man. They expect me to bring structure, safety, security into the equation, and I'm now acting chaotic. It's only a matter of time before you ladies will tell me like, what kind of man is this? You hear? Are you not a man? I heard the question being asked to some quote-unquote masculine men today. Are you not a man? I was like, oh my god, I've been talking about this forever.
Hey! Yo! With me, nigga! What's wrong with you, nigga? Come on! Where my glasses? Get off of me before I drop your goofy ass again. Now beat that, bitch ass nigga. Pay for this shit, hurry up.
No,
Pay for that shit and hurry up before I drop your ass again. Touch me, get on the drop.
Stop video for they help me. You got my key.
Somebody help you.
No, come on.
He said, help me. Talking about help you. Like, nobody's gonna help you. Yeah, it looks like this comment. Come on, help. After all, you're supposed to be supporter, women support men. Let me see what being is the word said. Say, what does it mean? What does men being effeminated mean? It means they are operating at a consistent basis in their feminine energy. They are, in our social construct, men are designed as part of our survival system. It's a primal thing as well, to bring structure, a sense of structure, not necessarily physically, a sense of structure, safety, security into our equation. Okay. And when a man is now asking for help me, like help me, and he confuses that with women are supposed to be the help meet, right? When he takes his focus off of what is the woman helping, and then he focuses on the help meet that the woman is supposed to be, he becomes effeminate, basically operating on a consistent basis in his feminine energy. And again, I don't like using that word unless we're talking about between him and his actual wife, actual romantic partner. But in this time and age now, some things become truth the more we say it. So, but after all, these are our gender war conversations. So, but you can almost, if they're having a conversation about marriage and you can see a man actively asking for help from women, he doesn't admit it with words, remember, but that's actively what he's doing, right? He might call it, I'm a traditional man. He might say, just submit to your husband and everything will work. That's him asking for help, because women naturally submit. They don't decide it. It just happens when they feel safe, right? So, and then if he hears someone like me talking and then he goes into attack mode and attack me, those are all effeminated men, okay? But it didn't start with me. It's probably he's lost his marriage somewhere, or he's struggling with relating with women. So I can understand. I understand. It's a personal issues for the most part, but they won't admit to it. Okay. But if you listen long enough, they eventually admit to it. It says, could it be that there has been a lack of balance in this thing called masculinity and femininity? Could it be that what we call effemination of men or masculination of men is just a need for fine-tune? Yeah, no, it's just fine-tune. Okay. But I see that you're receiving that as a shaming language. I don't mean that. Unless I intentionally mean it, but no, I don't mean that. But yeah, it's a need for fine-tuning, but it's also something that needs to happen organically. You cannot shame any side of the gender into submission. By the way, men in healthy relationship also submit. Okay, this is just the reality. Okay, now what do you mean by submit? Because submit. Now, if we're going by the context, right? Are men supposed to submit? Are women supposed to know? Women are supposed to submit. But supposed to is almost like a fantasy. Or women should submit. It becomes more and more of a fantasy the more you have to say it out loud. It means it's not happening. And it means you're trying to force it to happen. When in fact, it's supposed to naturally, organically happen. So we have to go back to the drawing table. What are the behaviors on both sides that's influencing this situation? It's a perpetual vicious cycle, not a straight line. See, when you use the word balance, you're looking at a straight line, like a pendulum. It's a cycle, okay? One feeds the other, like that, okay? It's a perpetual cycle, unless you break the cycle in the middle. You understand what I'm saying? It's not a straight line where we're looking for balance. Swing this way, swing. Even pendulums at some point go stop. I know that physics told you that, you see, don't allow me to masculinate the women listening to this, because it's putting them in overthinking mode. When you have an overthinking woman, you will struggle in that relation because she will not be in a full feminine essence. This is part of the reasons why we're struggling. So at some point, I stop the cycle. I stop the conversation because I don't want them to be overthinking this. Okay? When they get to work, they have to overthink. Partly because of the changes that we're looking at, right? Women can go to work now, but what they have to do, and then when they come home, they want to nurture. They don't want to be overthinking. Okay? Nurturing is supposed to come from a natural place for them. It's supposed to be something they want to do, not something we shame them into doing. So it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle until you self decides to break it. If you're reacting, you're feeding it. It gets bigger and bigger cycle. It becomes a bigger and bigger cycle. It becomes very, very messy. And even you as a man cannot handle it. So when we say effeminated man, you said masculination of women. Yes, it's a vicious cycle. Same thing. Okay. So even when there are coaches, there are femininity coaches around now, right? Even when they are coaching women, it's part of the work they have to do. They have to get to a place where they kind of slow down and say, you know what? we're overdoing this. They have to put them into actual practices. They have to make them act it out as opposed to just talk, right? They have to put them in places. They do exercises to help them build that from the inside out as opposed to trying to feed it. Okay, so men, we're allowed to overthink. This is just a social construct. It is what it is. Okay, now it's on the internet. On the internet, we're talking about it, and we say we're talking, and we say conversations. And I agree that we should have conversations, but anything you do too much of it, go kill you, go buy you. Anything you do too much of, So, this is a good question too. What happens to women who have a thinking personality? Are they still going to leave their authentic self? No, so it's all a spectrum, right? It's all a spectrum. So it depends. That's why you do personality tests. That's why you do love language assessments if you're actually getting help. But there are women like that tend to be logical. There's no absolutes. Men and women, both men and women have masculine and feminine in them. We all have them, right? It's just that for part of our survival, we, as a man, a typical man tend to yield towards supply seeds. We carry it. It happens biologically, but also with our social experience, we also do the same thing. Why did we do that for so long? Because it's been proven to actually help the ecosystem altogether to keep us sustainable, right? But again, when there's a shift, everybody will struggle, and there's a shift going on. So that's why I said stop thinking it's one side's fault. The only angle to this is to really bring it down to self, right? Self, so you can have enough to pour into other people, so that when you're pouring into other people, even if it's quote unquote accountability, you're doing it from a sustainable place, and you're not triggered to be shaming people. Only triggered people feel the need to shame people into submissions. All right, so let's get back to the story. We're still talking about Yul-Edochie. Yul-Edochie. Yinka supposed to be Edochie and Linc Edochie. Let's get back to the story. Remember, Yinka plugged herself into their story, and of course, unfortunately, that auntie, apparently I just found out that she's over 50 or something like that. Nothing wrong with that. I actually applauded her that she was able to attract a man. By the way, there are people that are able to attract men or women, and they just can't sustain it. It's not sustainable for them. The struggle is real. It's a complex thing, It's a simple and complex thing at the same time. Unfortunately, Yul, I was saying, lost the son. Unfortunately, Yul and May, they lost their son, and Yul got back on the internet. I think I said days later, and allegedly days. It doesn't matter. Anyway, even if it's a year, it's wrong. And they started dancing with Judy Austin. So now let's get back to this Linc. Linc was very supportive of May Edochie initially. Was very supportive of May Edochie to the extent that he was so supportive, posted on her page, promoted the new, May is now successfully getting endorsement and things like that. She's doing very well. People really empathize with her. People also support her, particularly supported her business, even though I think they said her business had crashed in the middle of all that drama. But she built a seemingly brand new business and was really successful, getting endorsement, showcasing people's products. People were, the attention was a lot. And she did not say a word throughout all this drama till now. I think the only thing she said is that God will judge both of them. That means Yul and Judy Austin. That was the only thing she said. I used to say, she said God will punish. And then all the main nation will come in the chat. I said, no, she did not say God will punish. She said God will judge. I said, okay, my bad. I'm sorry. She said God will judge them. Even better. Chia said she's 56 and beautiful, but something is definitely wrong somewhere. This is life. I told you it's not good enough that you're a good person. I've told you guys this before, right? Mr. Nice Guys, they collect everywhere, anywhere they go. Like, I thought it was good enough to be a good man. What else do you need outside of a good man? I said, there's good men and good women everywhere in the divorce court too. There are other things. Hopefully they discover them now. So Linc was very supportive and everything. But there's this young lady called Yinka. They said she's 56 years old. She's a Nigerian nurse based in the United States. And within a few weeks of their marriage, they said they're married or engaged. or the engagement. Anyway, they announced their engagement, you know, and but somewhere within, anyway, she has this rhetoric about spiritual attack, betrayal, all this kind of stuff. So people were already looking at her kind of side with like, who is this person? You know, what is she talking about? But anyway, later on, she started to accuse Yul-Edochie of instigating hate, of sending the Nigerian version of beehives. You know what beehives is? Beehives are they might even attack me right now talking. They are basically Beyonce supporters. So the main nation, the main nation, like they are the followers of Queen May. So all you have to do is attack Queen May, and then they will come in droves and they will attack you. Even here, which I'm not taking sides with Queen May, because we are attacking anything that tampers with our ability to continue to create attraction in marriage. I attack that from a talking point standpoint, okay? But some people, they only listen with the side of their brains that work, okay? There have been people that come into our comments, say, they listen to one line of what I said. You could tell that they didn't watch the whole video. They'll just be like, but she did not do that. What I like, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't. So anyway, May Nation, of course, they reacted to her. She posted some things and stuff like that. But she turned around. I think Yinka turned around, who is now Yinka's Linc's new fiance. She turned around and she started accusing May of instigating hate, even though Auntie May has not spoken a word about her marriage, about her family, outside of maybe I think once in a while I see her praise her father-in-law. She's not said a single word. Something that Nigerian ladies needs to study. Okay, something that heck, Nigerian men need to study that. The art of silence. Not the silence that means you become a doormat, because I mean I'll drag you. Sometimes occasionally if I feel like I'll drag you. So I'm not saying silence is always golden. Of course not. It depends on what we're talking about. But silence is truly golden. But it's an art. It's not an exact science. It's not something you play balance with. Okay? If you do silence and it failed, you have to be okay with it failed. But if you do it long enough, you know how to use it in your favor. Like anything romance. Right? Anyway, so she accused May. She had been accusing May. Of course, now when you start accusing May, what happens when you have a bunch of people that support May? The May Nation. What happens when you start attacking May? Of course, they came and they started attacking her. Anyway, eventually, let me see here. 1 second, guys. Anyway, yeah, so she started attacking them back. And she started going hard, you know, if you attack me, I will attack you back. You never see anything yet. Do you know what my name? Okay, they say her name was Ajakai. I am Yinka, the daughter of the infamous, is it Justice or something? Ajakai or something. She started doing that. She wanted to fight with this, with a massive, what do you call it? There's a word I'm looking for right now. All these May Nation people, they attacked her and she did not like it. And I guess they found her number, sadly. You see, when you want to fight on this internet street, I hope you're ready for what you are bargaining for. The internet is not your mate. Social media is not your mate. It's like trying to control narrative on the internet. Like, why? These are not people. Well, these are people. But this is not a person. You have to know when to, because there are people also that attack May. And if May wants to do that, if May want to participate in such behavior, the natural human behavior, right, which is to only yield to things that comes off as negative to you, she would have found people attacking her. I'm sure there are people that have been in a DM that will send a video of people attacking her to her. And then she will engage that, and guess what? It's a cycle. It grows. It will grow beyond, because you can't control that. So what should you do? Should you be silent? What do you think? If you can't control it, what should you do? Tell me. If you can't control it, if you know that this is beyond you, what do you think you should do? I'm asking for a friend. What do you think? If you can't control it, you should do what? Your guess is as good as mine. Drown yourself. You cannot be swimming against the trend of the ocean. If you don't know what you're doing, you will drown. Are there professionals that can swim and basically like swim against a trendy ocean with, you know, skating kidney under their feet, and they are like doing yes, they are. Guess what? They know what they're doing. Right? This is something that people study for a long time, and guess what? They can still drown. A whole ship sometimes will drown when the ship, if ordinary small bet inside of the engine break in the ship, that thing can drown. What do you think you should do if you know that you know? If you don't, well, how would you know? You have to do an assessment. There's an attack coming from you. Some of you is a spiritual attack. You dwell on spiritual attack. You're like, oh, is that something is diabolical? That, like, what else are you going to use to fight spiritual and diabolical attack than prayers? You talking and talking over and over, and every time you want to talk, is that going to fix it? No, it's not going to fix it. The closest thing that's going to fix it is your ability to pray and trust. Right? Is that difficult? Yes. Because sometimes you feel like it's unfair. This is not fair. How can they attack you? But of course, Yinka did not know this. Yinka is like me. I'm a coconut head, like them, like the rest of us. I'm a coconut head. I will fight you. So I guess some people in the middle of defending Queen May of May Nation, they found her number, her phone number to her jobs and things like that, and they started to call her jobs. Now, if you know anything about any developed world, you don't want anybody calling your job, even if you're right. You don't want anybody calling your job, to call your job to say you did this or you were. See all those aunties on TikTok, the ones that are dragging, what's his name? Ayinde. The ones that's dragging Masha Kwamwa, the ones that's dragging all the celebrities, the ones that are dragging all those aunties. In 3, 2, 1, some of them are going to start losing their jobs. Only a matter of time. Wait for it. Chill, relax. This is how it works, okay? They're going to start losing their jobs. Okay? But some of them are not popular enough to come and tell us too. So, but that's going to happen. If not already. Okay, anyway. That's how it works. So she started to swim against this trend of the ocean, and she was fighting them and all this. So they found her number, and she did, I guess. So she now came, instead of her to relax. Well, she doesn't know how to relax. She now took a screenshot. I don't know if she took the screenshot from her husband to be Linc's phone. She took a screenshot and released Yul-Edochie's phone number. What do you think that's going to be? You think suddenly May Nation will be like, okay, you're right, sorry. You released our queen's phone number. What do you think happened? Your guess is as good as mine. So, of course, everything imploded on her. You see, when you are busy, a lot of time when women operate from a masculine place, right? Or even men operating from a feminine place, quote unquote, because I think we're using the words wrongly. But just stay with me for a second. It's a need to protect self, okay, but done wrongly, okay. It's the need to protect. It's a defense thing. It's more of a defense than it is actually self-protection. Okay, because sometimes when you're defensive, you're not necessarily going to successfully protect yourself. You might even end up hurting yourself in the middle of being defensive. Because let's use this rhetoric now. You're talking, and you're just being defensive. If you talk long enough, you're going to say the wrong things. That's just the way it works, right? Why? Because the universe is not your mate. It's going to receive it and multiply it for you. And you didn't even mean that. That was your intentions. But every time somebody hears it, they take it, they multiply it. They had their own interpretation to what you're saying. And no, but that's not what I said. No, it's too late. That's exactly what you said. They just added their own interpretation to it. Anyway, she decided, so she released Yul-Edochie's phone number, and of course she continued to get dragged more. But that's not the end of it. Of course, it ended up in our engagement to Linc collapsing, because the guy came and made a statement and said, hey, I don't like problems. So people say, I don't want no peace. He said, I don't want problems. I don't want problems. I know I planned. Don't quote me verbatim. I'm not reading the actual statement. But he's basically said it's over. Okay? And since then, they've unfollowed each other. She's now unfollowed the family. At first, she came and said, I understand. You know, she did like the I am a nice person thing. I can understand. I was held accountable. She tried. Human beings don't be emotions. Eventually, she came back. In fact, some people were saying, no ever marry anybody in that family Edochie. Guess what she said? She said she now came back and said, it's more than meets the eyes. What does that mean? Now she wants to drag the whole family. What about self-accountability? If you know this much, how did you end up in this family? If they are such a bad family, you were doing a dogu, you were all over the place on the internet, you were taking sides. She was taking sides with Yul, because at first, there was a screenshot I saw somewhere where she was actually kissing up to May. Of course, May is usually silent. May did not answer to it. And May left the family, so she probably doesn't want to do fakeness with the person that's just entering the family. She don't know you like that, right? And of course, what happened is that once she noticed that May was not responding, she took sides and started buying gifts. Allegedly started buying gifts to the point that she bought a Range Rover toy for the children of Judy Austin. Well, all of that is good, right? There's nothing wrong with that. She's getting to know the family until you mix it up with all this drama with Queen May Nation and she end up in all this entanglement. It's confusing at best. It sounds like she's just there to do pepper them gang. All right. So, who's at fault? I know you guys want to know who's at fault. Nobody. Just look at the reality of what just played out, right? And what principles could you learn from this? Well, I don't know how to say that in English. Okay. There, chill, relax, patience, kindness. Kindness does not mean you become a doormat. Some people needs to be dragged. So who exactly needs to be dragged? I'll tell you when we get to that. We're not going to finish this conversation today, ever. If you want to call in, feel free to call in. I'm shutting down in the next 5 minutes. We're never going to finish this conversation. It's not this simple, okay? Unfortunately, it's not this simple, okay? But maybe she didn't mean any harm. Maybe since May Edochie would not be a friend, she decided to be May with the actual new wife, right? But does that have to be done publicly? I can't blame her for wanting to be, just get familiarity with some of the people in the family. But can that be done quietly without being offensive to May Edochie or the Queen May Nation? Can you do all of that without dragging in all this monitoring spirit energy? Because the monitoring spirit energy is real. You will get dragged. I hope you know what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. You see, all of us, you know how we jump out in this street and like, do what works for you? Like, sure. With respect to social intelligence, if you're swimming against the trend of the ocean, if you're swimming against the rules, social rules of engagement, sure, we all do that to an extent, but you better know what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, auntie, you never see anything.
Sorry, yo.
You never see anything yet. You go collect. Now, God help you. You now had monitoring spirit. Everybody is watching. Because me, like I gave you the example earlier on, if I jump on a stage on TikTok, about 60 people are watching, and I go and drag it out, even though I'm right, it doesn't matter. All that energy is feminine energy, is chaotic. I hope you know what you're doing. What do I mean? I hope you're bringing some kind of structure, safety, security into that conversation. Now you're responsible to making all these people feel safe. You see why it puts women in masculine mode? I hope you have it in you, because if not, you will get triggered. You will be triggered a lot. You will join it. It's chaotic. What are the chances that you have it? You don't. I'm going to tell you straight up, you don't. Okay? Now, it is fair. Sometimes you engage a debate. That's okay. You can engage a debate for the sake of a debate. But also, I would hope that you know what you're doing. I will hope that you know that in a debate, you can also get dragged. Go and ask Hillary Clinton. Imagine where you thought the rules were traditional rules, right? Where a man would never find himself dragging a woman. What do you think Hillary Clinton felt? What was Donald Trump calling Hillary Clinton on that debate stage? All is fair in love and war. All is fair in love and war. I hope that helps, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that helps. Let me see here. Being is the word. Says Yinka's masculine and feminine energies were fighting for prominence, hence irrational behavior. Yeah, you can say it that way. I'll let you say it that way. Because at the end of the day, she's a lady, right? So there's an internal battle going on. It's chaotic. I think that lady was more stoked at being linked to the Edochie family. She announced the engagement, right? I think she did. I'm not sure. I think she did. Yeah. I mean, she started putting herself out there, you know. But maybe they saw her. I was about to say him. Maybe they saw her on a post by Linc or celebration, and then, you know, people will follow her from there. If you tag her, people will follow her. And if she doesn't know what she's doing, she thinks she just, once a celebrity or somebody linked to a celebrity tags you like that, the rules will also change. It's called reading the room. The rules will change. How many of them do you think are patient enough to learn the rules of public scrutiny? Right? They don't do that. What they end up doing is that it's all fair. That's not fair. I will fight. I will hold you accountable. Does that make sense? Being is the word. I will hold you accountable. How do you think that's going to work out? She behaved like a fan. She became a fan because she didn't know what she was doing. So now she was trying to hold the general public accountable. Do they have anything to lose? The general public have nothing to lose. Worst case scenario, they lose an account. Somebody blocks you, you lose access, right? That's the worst thing that can happen. That's not is that a loss? What's the worst thing that can happen to a typical regular troll on the internet? What's the worst thing?
Rapture with it and where you did rapture than live me no.
Right, you get blocked, an account is deleted. That's the worst thing that can, even the professional troll. If it's a professional troll, they know how to create multiple accounts. Shout out to Ekene APC Bishop. You can't beat them. They have nothing to lose. So how does this compare to romantic partners? Well, you have to think about it at a emotional, mental level. Okay, if you truly believe that the other person is not doing what they're supposed to do, if you truly believe that, then your best angle is to understand, first of all, you cannot control another human being. However, you can influence them. There is a difference. You cannot control another human being, especially if your definition is that they're moving mad. That means it's chaotic. That means you're probably going to get drowned and get triggered when you're actively trying to hold them accountable. If you're going to do that, you better know what you're doing, which is the whole point of start from self-accountability, self-preservation. I think I saw that comment in my side eye earlier on. Right? Start from there. Very, very important. She was doing the most. Being is the word. Say May is using her feminine and masculine energies appropriately, and it seems to be working well for her. Yeah, it's we have both, and you know, any man on a normal day will be attracted to that lady. Even Yul was so confused. It was like, this woman have a new breast. There's a new breast on the chest of this woman. He was confused. At one point, it confused the ish out of him. Where did you get the money then to be, you know, tell the whole world what you have been doing? He tried to attack her. Guess what she did? That is a feminine man. I will not engage. Confusion, chaotic. Do we need feminine energy in our world? Yes, that's what makes this world beautiful. It's the same thing we resent about it that we love about it. It's beautiful. But if it's misplaced, it creates chaos. Okay? You join feminine with feminine, it creates chaos. Okay? But if we're talking about sexual polarity, then we need both. We need both energies. Again, we're talking about just misplaced energy. We're talking about an energy level. Somebody say, but what about the lions in the bush? Energy, masculine energy. Somebody said, what is masculine? We didn't say masculine. We never said masculine in any of this. We're not talking about your muscles, but muscles is masculine. What about beer? Beer is masculine, baba. Oh God.
Torí kìdìgbà bíi Brazil aṣẹ́wó. Ó wá sórí live mi ó sọ̀sọ̀kúsọ. Já dànù jẹ́ rapture wèrè dànù where you dey. Rapture dànù kúrò lórí live mi o.
Wàhálà Nàìjíríà don rí pàṣọ àti kó sáwọn kọlu. Wàhálà.
We didn't say masculine. We just never said that. Nigerian men engaging conversations they know nothing about on TikTok. But it is masculine. Masculine.
Continue.
Sorry, Jerry. Sorry, Auntie. Sorry. Problems were. I swear. I get it. You know, lions are the alpha male of the jungle. And so, never mind that the human mind is a little bit of a different. It's a primate, right? Never mind that. Let's just disregard that. Let's just pretend like we're all the typical animal. After all, the lion is the jungle. I'm an alpha male. Somebody said on TikTok yesterday, can you tell that I've been listening to TikTok a lot? Somebody said, so maybe that's even why we didn't attract, because when these algorithms listen and they see you're promoting another platform, they can shadow ban you straight up. Anyway, somebody said, that was my chain of thought. I think I just did. Somebody said, where is it go? Don't come back. Anyway, never mind. I forgot my train of thoughts. There's a lot of interesting things they are saying. Okay. Musculine. They say, women are getting hypergamous. You married a man that you knew was broke, and now suddenly you get hypergamous. Or hypogamous. Actually, there's an actual word called hypo. But hypogamous. You're now getting that. You now remember suddenly that you like hypogamous. I said, God have mercy. Lord have mercy. What is the meaning of this word, Marriott? What is anthropology? Fail. I know fail, but what is anthropology? My English no did. See, they always think my English strong. If they listen to me long, that is like, we're traditional men here. We know to do all that English stuff. All this Oyibo people stuff. All this Oyibo people westernized stuff. Slavery mindset. You bring all this stuff. Oh, I've been listening to TikTok. I don't remember, Jari. Somebody came on stage and said, I don't remember. I will say it another day. I'm tired. But these people, watch out for them. They are also on YouTube. They're everywhere. They're on any platform where they can be heard. They need to be heard. They want to be heard. Okay? They need to feel, and I mean that. Okay? And I might be asking you ladies for a lot when I say listen. But regulate. If you listen to too many toxic stuff, it will backfire. Remember, it's not good enough that you're a good person. Okay? You need social intelligence, which is part of why you need to regulate where you find yourself. Where are you hanging out? Okay? I've seen people have told me here before, a couple of people, not one person, they said, I got tired of listening to all this stuff, it was becoming toxic. Even here, people say toxic, and I can respect that. I said they had to take a break. I can respect that. Okay? Because, faith cometh by hearing. So does fear. Right? What you listen to will become your reality. Directly, indirectly, somewhere in between, it will become your reality. Romantic relationships are simple, but they can be hard. They can be very difficult. Especially long term. Okay? But if the long-term failures come back and they keep telling us all these sad, gloomy stories from time to time, remember, faith and fear cometh by hearing. It can become your reality. It becomes who you are. Because naturally, you have to protect yourself. When people say women become masculine, I say, yeah, people have to protect themselves. That's what it has to be. Then that's what it has to be. Guess what? If a strong enough masculine energy, she finds herself around that consistently over a period of time, not a one-time thing, Well, I try to be masculine. She still did submit consistently. Okay. Trust has to be built. It has to be earned. Somebody said they don't agree with trust as submission is earned. I said it's not. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. You can't disagree with a fact unless you want to argue with your destiny. So yes, you'll get your masculine energy will show up more. It will become other people's experience of you. Okay. Is it because I'm wearing skirts? Yes. This is you don't live by yourself. This is a group of 7 billion people. There are some rules here. There's a way they move. And why did I push against that? Because you're complaining. If you're not complaining, I will leave you alone. That means you understand the rule. You decide you want to move against the trend of the ocean, and you know what that looks like. That means you're able to carry that. But if you come and complain, you're telling me that you're not able to carry it. That is an internal battle. That's an internal confusion on your part. All right. So now when you had the romantic layer on top of it, it gets very, very complicated because the natural you will be asking for reciprocation. In the name of, I do my own side. Why don't you not do yours? Go on TikTok. It's men shouting that the most. Everybody should just play their role. Everybody should just play their role. If they just play their role, everything will be fine. That's a person looking for balance. That's a person saying it's unfair. Don't do like this to all. We are the victims. Us brothers are the victims. That is a person operating from a weak standpoint, from a very weak place. They are asking for power. Power is taken with a en. Power is taken, taken. It is not given. No one has power that they truly feel is power and they're going to give it to you. But it will come to you if you work on your power of influence. It will come to you. No, they don't get to decide it. Okay? You don't get to decide it. You will attract who you are. You will attract your reality. At what point do we hold other people accountable? When we are no longer talking about a romantic relationship where nobody's entering anybody's kwekus or anybody's falling by Angolas by mistake. Yes, we can talk about that then. Until then, self. Go back to self-reflection. Okay? Inside of self-reflection, all the accountability you need is inside. All the give and take you need is inside of it. But you have to go back to self. Does that sound unfair? Welcome to the real world. In love and war, all is fair. Anthropology is the study of the way of life of people, their culture. Oh, okay, it makes sense now. See, I love anthropology. I really enjoyed that class when I was in college. Oh, I never took that class. Study of humans, biology, and culture. Yeah, the poto. When you bring in African studies, the traditional way, African studies, traditional way, absolutely, anthropology fail. Okay, we should go back to, somebody said earlier, the divorce rate in Nigeria is 1%. In India is 3%. How do you argue with that? Where do we start from with that one? And in the UK is 50%. And then in Yankee he said 56%. And another man unmuted their mic and said, in the UK is 69%. Why do you think he said that? Why do you think he said that? A UK man unmuted the mic to say, oh, in the UK it's 69%. It's not 53%. If an American man was like, wait, in the America it's 73%. What are you talking about? It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Where do I start with that conversation? So of course, any chance I get, I say I challenge you to a debate. Guess what they're gonna do? I don't know. I don't want to predict. I don't want to assume. Maybe one day somebody will show up. Maybe somebody will be in my DM one day. I say, you know what? You wanted a debate. Let's have it. I've had a few gentlemen come on this stage and actually debate me. Shout out to Uncle Bendo. Shout out to Sheyi. I remember you. Shout out to Uncle Kidola. People that will with their futures and say, you know what? we're getting somewhere here. Let's have a conversation. We've had a few of them here, and we have a lot of them behind the scenes. They listen. They hit me up sometime in the DM. But these ones that are loud on the internet that I'm challenging, you think they will show up? I don't know. Never say never, right? Never say never. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle across the board. A young lady came on the stage and started talking about, the feminine, masculine. She was actually very apt, and she talked about her marriage. She talked about, and she was talking, and you could hear claps, applaud from the ladies. As soon as she said, the African man, the way they are built, they are going to push against the westernized culture, and she was kind of going in the direction of suggesting listening a little bit longer to the African man, quote unquote, the African man, right? She was suggesting in that direction. Guess what the ladies did? They shut her down. They said, timer, put a timer on it. The problem is across the board. No one is listening. No one is listening. The idea that you're going to be dismissive to all this, man, I'm not sure that's going to work either. I'm sorry. It's not, ladies, that's not going to work. Okay? It's not going to work. We have to listen and drag them at the same time. You listen, you don't judge. We listen, we don't judge. Right? But to a large extent, we will need to listen to men, because the reality is that some of them are going to become your sons, your brothers. They will have the same plight. They will have the same issues. They will have, So to a large extent, men needs to be heard. That's just where we are right now. The solution of pulling back African tradition from 1960 is not going to work. But how do we get them to actually understand that? We have to listen to them. All right. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We're going to call it a day. It's a fantastic weekend. I think Auntie B might be live. Let me go and hang out with Auntie B a little bit. You guys, why don't you guys, let me make sure. Let me see. Is she live? Let me see. Auntie B of Obodo Imbo TV. Is she live? Uncle Beno is live. Auntie B is also live. Okay, go join anybody you like. Uncle Beno is live. Auntie B is live. I'm going to end up right here. I will join you guys somewhere. Where do you guys want to go? Uncle Beno or Auntie B? You guys tell me in the chat. Where do you guys want to go? Auntie B or Uncle Beno? Tell me right now before I shut it down. Where do you want to go? Chi say, oh, Beno might be live. Beno is live. Yes, Uncle Beno is live. Yes. Where do you guys want to join? Where should we go and go and bombard them and tell them the Prestige family just arrived? Where should we go? We want to go. We want to go there right now. No, we want to go somewhere. Latu always silent. Latu appreciate you. You're always there. I know you're there. Shout out to you. We can't go to both at the same time now. How can we go to both? Look at you guys all loyal and stuff. We can't go to both. I want us to go somewhere where we'll tell them that the Prestige family has arrived. Okay, you want to go to both. You want to open both on 2 tabs and then say the Prestige family has arrived. Oh, Auntie B is not live. Auntie B is live. Oh, she's done. Oh, okay, it wasn't live. Okay, it was a video. You're right. I'm looking at my feed now. Uncle Beno. Okay, let's go to Uncle Beno. Let's shut this down. Let's go join Uncle Beno. Thank you, Marriott. All right, good. I'll see you guys soon on Uncle Beno's side. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications, and turn up your notifications. I hope you've been enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Peace.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love